Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and all those terrible Jay and Silent Bob type pictures, man. You're listening to Drop the Mic, the only podcast that I listen to that I'm not a part of. Every podcast I listen to, I usually talk on it, but not fucking Drop the Mic. That's where I'm like, let me hear what the boys have to say. And now, we drop the mic.
How would you like to help me deal the next generation of super weapons to the world?
The weapons of tomorrow.
I've already made quite a few of these dandy little toys. Do you really want to be the only ones without my kind of firepower?
Terrorizing our cities today.
Officers down. We got a big problem here.
Now, to protect those who can't fight back.
Gang still messing with him?
Worse than ever.
One man must stand up for the people.
Maybe the police aren't enough. Maybe we need a new kind of firepower for ourselves.
Got you, bro.
What exactly am I supposed to be doing here?
We make our own kind of weapons to take out the ones in the streets.
To stop an enemy without hurting them.
And become a new breed of hero.
It might get a little dangerous.
I laugh at danger.
I boogie around danger like a soul-trained dancer.
With a will of iron, a heart of gold, and a body of steel.
It's hammer time.
What a magnetic personality.
We gotta admit, the guy's got style. The Batcave?
Steel.
Man, I could be Robin.
You wanna know what you can do to help?
What? Anything.
Don't tell Grandma.
Welcome back to our Humble San Diego podcast. We are your hosts, Wesley Swanson and Ryan Jimenez, and together we are Drop the Mic. This is episode 330, an impressively bad movie where we sat down to discuss everything that's wrong with the DC 1997 film Steel. But first, we're going to get everybody warmed up out there in podcast land, shall we?
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
Pop culture news. What do you have for us, Ryan? And what's up, man?
What's up? How's it going? I feel like, I know it's only been a week and a half or 2 weeks, but I feel like every time there's a decent sized gap, I feel like a little piece of me has gone away, and then every time we come back, I am resurrected.
yeah.
But yeah, it's good to be back. So first off, shout out fucking Barbie for crossing that $1 billion mark and well over $1 billion now. And then being Warner Brothers' highest grossing global release in history, surpassing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Very, very cool. If you haven't already, what are you doing? Go and see it. Go see it this weekend. But yeah, fucking shout out to everyone involved in the movie. It's a masterpiece.
I have a
saw it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a question for you. Do you think if they do a Barbie sequel, which it's fair, it's safe to say they are going to do it at some point, maybe not right away, but do you think it will be as successful? Or
I think it would be successful. I definitely think it would be successful if it's done the right way. And I have no doubt in my mind that Greta would, and that her team would do it the right way. I just don't think it needs it.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
I think it's just like, for instance, and this is completely different, and I have a different reason why we didn't need it. Mostly because I don't want to see those incels like fucking drool over themselves for a year. But it's just like Joker, dude. As much as I love Gaga, I don't think we needed a second Joker, dude. Like, it was cool.
Okay. Since you said that, do you think that there's a chance, because I'm going to assume you're still going to go watch the second Joker
for Gaga, yeah,
when it comes out. Could you, depending on how good it is, do you think you would change your mind after walking out of the theater having seen it? Is there a chance?
No.
Okay.
Because it could be fucking Citizen Kane, and I can still think that it didn't need to happen. Also, too, like, obviously, you know, DC and those fools, they probably didn't think that it was going to make over $1 billion and kind of it be the number one rated movie box office wise of all time. So they didn't think that, but the lead up to that movie, everything about it was a standalone. There was going to be no Batman. There was going to be no mention of the Waynes. No nothing. Just the standalone. And now we're getting Harley Quinn. And at the end of it, they kind of hinted at Batman.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's cheap, dude. And like I said, I could be wrong. It could be fucking really good. I'll still think that it's going to be that it shouldn't have happened. And from what I was reading earlier, I read something a couple hours ago that someone close to the movie said that it's like a fucking musical. Like, it's completely different than the first one. Like, expect a lot of songs and a lot of music. So I think they had to go that route, right? For it to be for people to want to see it. I mean, obviously people are going to line up to see it, but it needed to be a little different. And they got Gaga. Obviously, it's fucking Oscar nominated, Tony, Grammy Awards. And I know you definitely know what you're going to get with her. So she's probably going to fucking act her ass off and sing her ass off. But like I said, dude, it's just cheap, and I don't think we needed it. And I really do not want to see all these Joker and Harley Quinn Halloween costumes in 2 years. Dark Knight Trilogy is returning to theaters for Batman Day on September 16th. So if you never got the opportunity to see it in theaters, you're too young or whatever, September 16th, find your local theater, whole trilogy. You can sit down for 30 hours and watch it.
So I didn't even hear about this. So now I'm glad that we do news on the show. So can you only go and see it as a trilogy? They're not.
From what I hear, from what I'm saying, it's the trilogy.
Okay, that's cool. I'm into that.
And I mean, I think I'd go. I'll probably go just so I can see that second one again on the big screen. I'm sure we'll get more opportunities, but like we talked about in the last episode, and if you were there for that movie, it was special seeing that movie in theaters and special seeing Heath Ledger's performance on the big screen. So go and check that shit out. And then the rest of the news I got is kind of downers. We lost a lot of people the last couple of weeks. First off, rest in peace to Terry Funk, one of the greatest WWE, WCW, ECW, New Japan wrestlers of all time. He fucking wrestled it. The only thing he didn't wrestle in was AEW. One of the greatest of all time. We probably, people our age know him for his hardcore stuff. And I don't think that gets as popular as it does. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't without ECW and him. Go back and watch his shit on YouTube. Those early matches, they're insane. And even before that, in like the 60s and 70s, I think Jerry Lawler is quoted as saying that he thinks Terry Funk is like the greatest WWE superstar of all time. So rest in peace to one of the greatest.
Also, we cannot give him a shout out without saying go watch him in Roadhouse, dude.
Fuck yeah. I totally forgot about that. Fuck. Yes. Watch Roadhouse for Terry Funk. And then like a week later, we lost, Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt. He's only 36 years old. Such a fucking huge loss for wrestling in general. Like his storytelling is probably never going to be unmatched. He had like some of the biggest wrestlers of the last 10, 15 years had their most memorable storylines with Bray Wyatt, John Cena, Roman, Seth, Randy Orton when he burned them alive, and the ring was on fire the whole time. Just insanely talented, and a huge fucking loss. Cannot say. I know a lot of people really didn't like when he came back this last year and his storytelling, but I fucking loved it. I've always been a fan of his. I kind of missed a lot of his stuff because I was out of the watching wrestling for a while. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. And then I don't know if you heard about Arlene Sorkin.
Yeah, she was in my news.
Literally Harley Quinn. Like the Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
You see Harley Quinn, you think of her voice.
Laid the foundation for what we know today. If you're not into comic books, then you probably don't know that Harley Quinn was created specifically for the Batman animated series in the 90s. And what a beautiful job Arlene did. So, huge loss. I know she was, I want to say 67, I believe.
Yeah. 67, still too young. And she did all the voices for all the Arkham games, right?
Yes.
So fucking good, dude. So, yeah. R.I.P. to all those fucking greats we lost. Taylor Swift fans, turn this episode off right now, or pause it, fast forward it. I don't care. But Taylor Swift's new concert for the Eras Tour is coming out on October 13th, because 13 is her number, apparently. And in doing so, made Blumhouse push back The Exorcist a week. So instead of the 13th, the perfect day, Friday the 13th, we're getting it October 7th now. So I'm very upset. I wanted to get my big ass in the theater on Friday the 13th, get the shit scared of me with a big, large popcorn and cherry zero cola, but I'm not going to do it a week before on a lame October 7th day.
Do you think, did she do that because she's a fan of, like, spooky stuff and Halloween? Because I'm just, like, trying to wrap my head around there. You said that off air that the Eras Tour just stopped. So they have to be still editing. So why are they trying to crank it out so quickly, and why didn't they just do it like November 13th? You want the 13th date? That's fine with me. But it just seems unfair that Blumhouse had this date already slated, and then it's just this pop artist essentially comes along and who's not even really in the industry in that way, just totally fucks up the plan.
So I don't know if October has any significance to her, but I do know the number 13 does.
Yes.
So yeah, no, like she could have totally November 13th or kept it a holiday thing and did December 13th or something like, or closer to that day. Maybe it's the only Friday, so maybe that's why. I did see a crazy number right before we got on air saying that it's already sold $35 million worth of pre-sale tickets.
How much?
35.
Wow.
So she's gonna make her money and some. And I know like a lot of the theaters are doing like popcorn tubs and like cups and shit like that, but what a beautiful day it was going to be. Legitimately the most beautiful day for an exorcism. She took that away from us. Fucking Taylor Swift! Okay, that's enough ranting on Taylor Swift. What do you got for us this week?
All right, this week. So, two of the things you've already mentioned. So I just have one really quick piece of news. The last voyage of the Demeter is now available to stream at home. On demand, obviously. I think you can buy it too for $20. Apparently, it's made like no money in the theaters. Were you aware of this?
I was aware of both that it hasn't made any money and that it's out on digital already. I just think it's one of those things, dude, that I haven't seen it. I know you saw it. And I feel like it would be something that I would love. But I feel like it's just one of those movies, dude, that one, I don't think it got a lot of publicity, and then it coming out during the strike, I think definitely hurt it. And then two, like, it's just one of those movies I think people like you and I that are into obscure shit like that would love it and be into it, but it's not something for people, casual moviegoers, I think. And it sucks. We always talk about how all those movies, different movies, you got to go out and support them or buy it on digital, buy the physical, just so it gets love and they continue to make movies like that. That's something. I have a list of movies that I'm buying physical, and that's something that I want to buy. Maybe if I can rent it, I'll rent it, but it's definitely something I'm going to buy physical.
Yeah. Speaking of, I went to an early screening of that, and I enjoyed the film a lot. But being honest, and I think it does because it kind of roots back to like that classic Universal Monsters, almost like Hammer horror style, where you know where the film is going essentially and what's going to happen, but it's just about how, like, the journey and how it's going to unfold and what they're going to be able to pull off visually. And it's from the director of Andre Overdahl, I think his name is, who did The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is a movie that I love, and then more recently the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which was also very good in my opinion.
So what you're telling me is the dude doesn't miss.
He doesn't. I think I will say Demeter is probably out of the three my least favorite, but it's still good. And I would never tell you not to watch it because I think that you'd love it. And they do a lot of great body horror stuff, but it's definitely not for. It's very much, like you said already, a niche kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get a lot of marketing. I didn't even know about the trailer until James, I think, mentioned it on the show, and I was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about? Dracula on a ship? Like, I don't know what that is."
I didn't even see the trailer. You know what I saw, dude? The movie poster at my local theater, and it's a small theater. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And that's when I went and looked at the trailer. I'm like, holy shit, this looks tight. And then I saw who directed it.
And then it coming so close into proximity of Renfield was also kind of weird. But I don't know. But that's a shame. I think it's only done worldwide something like 15 million, and it's been out for a while. I don't know how much it took to make, but it took 16 million was spent on Steel, the movie that we're going to bag on tonight, for perspective. Okay, 16 million.
Yeah, dude, that's a bummer. It only made that much. And, you know, what sucks is that both those vampire movies, like Dracula movies, they bombed. So we're gonna need what's his name, Nosferatu, to do good.
Who's doing that again?
Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
In the cast, I mean, Bill Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, William Dafoe, Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
I'm just gonna say that like I loved the Northman, but that didn't make money.
But I still haven't seen that.
Oh, you gotta, dude. I can't believe
No,
you.
fuck.
You gotta watch it, man.
I'll see. I'll watch it. Definitely will. And fucking Skarsgård playing another like iconic fucking horror movie role that only probably he can pull off.
Did you ever check out the Nosferatu television show on I think it's on AMC.
AMC, right?
AMC. It's either AMC
Yeah.
or Shudder, something like that.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
But go see fucking Blue Beetle. Go support that shit. If it's still playing in your theaters this weekend, go and see it. Go buy it on digital. Go buy the physical. I don't know if you've seen the McFarlane Multiverse Blue Beetle figures, but they're fucking awesome. They have like a regular 6-inch, and they have like this like 12-inch statue. Like that it's like not posable, but it's made by McFarlane. You can get it like Walmart, Targets. So fucking badass. Support that shit. I'll tell you what, the first Blue Beetle costume that I see at my doorstep Halloween gets a fucking bucket of candy, and my house gives the best fucking candy and the biggest fucking candy bar, so that kid's gonna go home a very happy person.
You heard it first on Drop the Mic. Hold him to that, everybody.
Wes and I have been playing a shit ton of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it's free on Xbox Game Pass. It's $40 on PlayStation. It's $40 on Xbox too, but why would you buy it if you have the Game Pass? So fun. Probably the funnest of all those games. Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Dead by Daylight. Super easy to pick up. Controls are super easy to pick up. Doesn't take a lot for you to get into the game and to start having fun. And Wes has put like 500 hours into it already. Sweating his ass off, just playing nonstop. But yeah, check it out and support what is it, Gun Interactive?
Yes.
They did an awesome job. Yeah, and then I have a whole bunch of books. I just finished This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. If you like horror and kind of psychological horror, check it out. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. It's a super easy read. Goes by really fast. It's less than, I think it's like 250 pages. It is like how do I put it? You know what? Almost like Talk to Me. It's that dread that's looming, and it's always looming throughout it. So if that's your jam, definitely check that out. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. If you follow me on Instagram and stuff like that, I posted about it, and I just posted about it a couple hours ago, and I tagged the author. And then I'm finally playing Alan Wake. So good. I don't know what made me not play it all these years. I think it's like I was explaining to somebody. It's like if Twin Peaks and like Stranger Things had a baby. Is that a good?
Yes. Yeah.
Super creepy. I get creeped out all the time. I'm only on like chapter. I think there's 6 chapters. I'm on chapter like 3. I have to play with the lights on because I'm so scared. But yeah, super good. Check it out. I think the second one's coming out in October, and is it still free on PlayStation for PS Plus members, or was that a monthly game?
I think it should still be available right now.
Yeah, so if you have PlayStation, check that shit out. I think I saw it on the big sale they're having this week too. So if you want to own it, you can buy it like that too. It's on sale. But yeah, check that out. And then last, I got 2 more things. I finished a book called Mother Thing. I don't think I wrecked it last time, did I? No. Another horror book. Crazy stuff. A lot of it's like a slow burn. The last like maybe 2 chapters, maybe 15, 20 pages is disgusting, and I wanted to throw up. And I could not believe what I was reading. So if you want to check that out, it's called Mother Thing by Ansel Hogarth. And she's an up-and-coming author, too. I think she only has a couple books out, maybe 2 or 3. I bought mine at Barnes. You can get it, I think, on Amazon and wherever you buy your books. And then last but not least, obviously I got to do it. Saturday, tomorrow, is WWE's Payback. The card is pretty good. You have Peacock. You got it for free. Seth Rollins and Shinsuke is probably going to be the main event for that World Heavyweight Championship. And then on Sunday, you got AEW's All Out. They're one of their big pay-per-views of the year. They just had All In at Wembley Stadium last week. 81,000. They broke the record for an all-time attendance for a wrestling event, which is massive. AEW just started 4 years ago, and they're already doing things like that. And that card was good. You can still buy that on demand and watch it. I highly suggest you do. It's one of the best wrestling pay-per-views of this year. And then All Out is this Sunday, and the match card is going to be really good too. So check out those 2 wrestling pay-per-views, and shout out wrestling. Probably we're entering another golden age of wrestling. It's awesome.
Yes.
And you can like both too. You don't have to be a punk ass and talk shit about WWE or talk shit about AEW. Both are good, and AEW doing as good as they are doing is good for the sport and good for the entertainment. And that is all I got on my Rex.
All right. So was it last Sunday was National Cinema Day, right?
Yes.
And we both, obviously, Ryan doesn't live close to me, but we both went to support the day, even though it's very fucking chaotic day at the movies. We both went and watched a little film called Strays.
Yes.
Which I enjoyed. I was a little taken aback by how, and not to say, I knew it was rated R, I knew it was going to be to a certain extent vulgar, but they've committed to to the fact that movie was going to be the most obnoxious thing to come out in, the past few years as far as comedies go. And I feel like and I think we've said this before, maybe on the Superbad episode, that style of movie is coming along less and less as we progress through life. So it was a fun kind of breath of fresh air for me. You have Jamie Foxx, Will Ferrell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good cast, very, very funny. And it's like one big dog dick joke.
Yeah, dude. I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think you're right. Like that type of movie is like that genre movie is like a dying breed, right? We don't get rated R, dumb as shit sex comedies anymore.
Yeah,
this one just so happens to be about dogs,
mm-hmm.
starring dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was what it was supposed to be, and it was kind of a breath of fresh air to just kind of zone out for an hour and 20 minutes and laugh about dog dicks.
And when I was watching it, because you probably do this too, but certain movies, well, every movie really, is sometimes I'll be analyzing like how it's made and all these things like beneath the surface that not everybody does, because we're more in tune with how a movie is made. And I was so impressed that they were able to, obviously the dogs aren't really talking, but they have the dogs really there and cutting these scenes. And how the fuck did they do that? Like because there's so many scenes where it's just them interacting, and it's just the dogs on screen, and they're really filming these dogs, interacting back and forth, and they're looking at each other, and that had to be so painstakingly hard and time consuming to get all of those shots correctly. You know what I'm saying?
No, like I might be biased, but give those dogs Oscars because they acted their ass off.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell?
It didn't. Even too, like, it's weird. I'm pretty sure they made it for a shit ton of money, especially with that cast. But even the CGI with their mouth, like, it didn't look bad.
It looked great. Yeah,
like it looked really good. That day is a fucking. It's good that all the theaters do it and it brings in a lot of money, I'm sure. But that fucking day is a dumpster fire. Like, so. Our local movie theater, we go, we never have a problem. We come in 10 minutes before the movie starts, get our snacks, and then walk into the theater. Obviously, we always buy our tickets like beforehand. But that day, the last 2 years, this theater, it is like jam packed. Like the parking lot is insane. It's good to see, but I know a lot of theaters have trouble with like a lot of kids going and like a lot of fights and stuff happening. So don't be an asshole. Don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the movie theaters, work hard to clean up your mess.
Yeah, I saw a lot of footage of like fights breaking out, and it was just like, I don't know. It's so bizarre that it's like, okay, but you guys won't go do that on a regular day. Like you're not even there, but you take advantage of this day that's supposed to be for people like us who actually love movies, and then we don't want to go because we're like, no, fuck that. We don't want to hear everybody talking because, and I was smart. I was kind of strategic. And I picked a late showing on purpose because obviously every theater now you can pre-buy your seats and you can see how many people are in that showing, right?
Yeah.
And the 8 o'clock for Strays didn't have very many seats sold at all. So I was like, okay, I'll go and it's going to be chill. And it was chill, but even in that showing, there was maybe 30 people throughout the first 45 minutes of the movie. 45 minutes into the movie, people are still strolling in to watch the movie. And not to of course we neither of us have kids, but the amount of people that went to take their kids to see Strays, it was kind of alarming to me.
Insane. Like those kids, our theater had like 6-7-year-olds in that fucking movie theater.
And it's
I don't know if they thought like the movie was going to be something different.
Yeah, but when you buy tickets, it says clearly like I feel like they're very with any rated R movie, they're like, this is rated R movie, you need to be accompanied by an adult, and all of those trailers are filthy trailers, like it was kind of strange to me, and of course I'm not trying to throw any shade or shame parents, whatever. You want to show them that's fine, but it's probably going over their head. They're not gonna understand most of that.
And right here, when I bought the ticket, I had bought like the first. There was no one had bought the ticket. I think I bought them on Friday, and then it was packed. Like there was even people sitting in the front row. Like there wasn't a seat that was empty in the front row. That's how packed the movie theater was.
But yeah. So check out Strays. Go play Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fuck all the haters who say that the game's not good, because it is good. It's fun. It's easy to pick up, like Ryan said already at the beginning of this segment. The mechanics are great, and it's legitimately a good time. You can play the victims. You can play the family, which I feel like we're psychopathic people, so we only like to play the family. You get my drift?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
Let's get started with our movie focus of the week. I know it was your pick, kind of a wild card pick, right?
It was. You told me, you know what? Let's do a shitty movie. I said, you know what? Let's do fucking Steel.
You really went to the bottom of the barrel on this one. We'll get into that story, or hopefully you say it over there. So we're talking about Steel. It's PG-13. It's from 1997. It's an action adventure flick. It runs at 1 hour and 37 minutes. Written and directed by Kenneth Johnson, starring Shaquille O'Neal, Annabeth Gish, Judd Nelson, and Richard Roundhouse. The film spins the story of John Henry Irons, who, while involved in a military demonstration gone very bad, decides to resign and head back to his home in L.A. The weapons involved in the accident eventually start showing up in the wrong hands, and John decides to take down the overly evil Nathaniel Burke by becoming the vigilante known as Steel. Steel is a movie, all right. Perhaps one of the worst I've seen, especially coming out of the late 90s. The whole project reeks of made-for-TV. However, this was released in the theaters in August of 1997, to which it was critically panned and rejected by both critics and casual moviegoers, only pulling in $1.7 million against its $16 million budget. 1 laser beam gun out of 5. Thank you.
Okay, first off, put that into perspective. I know this movie came out in 97, but $16 million fucking dollars to make this movie. Flash forward to now, Talk to Me was made for like $4.5 million.
That's
what the fuck they could have done with $16 million budget? Like, is insane.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And think about this to further that perspective even more. You have this comes out in 97, right? And they originally wanted Wesley Snipes for Steel. 98, the original Blade comes out. They just shit all over this movie, man. Like,
dude, I think it has a 12, right? 12% on Rotten. I don't know how it has a 12.
You think it should have nothing?
I think it should have like a 1. I want to know the people. Like, I need to go on Rotten to see who gave it more than a higher rating than it should for it to get that 12%.
Yeah, and what's their argument, and what did they see in it? The only thing that's salvageable, and even okay, the soundtrack is the only thing that's okay.
Soundtrack's good.
And I don't mean like the score, because the score is garbage too. You're right. You feel like when he's running and shit, it's just like the most hammy, fucking weird, stilted shit that I've ever heard. That it's just, like I said, it's like they might as well have just shot this for TV or something. I don't know. It just looks, and the acting is terrible. But yes, the soundtrack is pretty good. Even though they're trying to beat you over the head with it's urban. He's an urban hero or whatever, and that's kind of annoying or whatever. But I still can appreciate the tracks that they chose, and I think that the music for the motion picture soundtrack, right, actually did pretty well on the charts, especially for hip hop and R&B. If my memory serves me.
No, it did.
Yeah. But yeah, man, let's talk, dude. First of all, you have a pretty decent cast, right? And all of them are completely underused in ridiculous ways. Like, I love Judd Nelson, right? But it's I don't know. It's what a silly fucking villain.
You know what? Honestly, I want to go, like, I should have looked, and I can pull it up now, but I want to know what fucking Disney movies, like Disney TV movies, came out in 97 And I'm pretty sure any of those fucking movies was better than this. Was shot better, was written better, was acted better.
Yeah.
And you know what, too? I forgot fucking Judd Nelson was in this.
Yeah, because he's fucking Judd Nelson. Like,
and then he shows up, and I'm like, that's fucking Judd Nelson playing some random ass fucking generic fucking villain.
Like how he starts when the movie starts out, it's like he doesn't even waste any time. He doesn't try to hide it. You know, they have the fucking senator comes, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill all these people right now, and nobody even tries to, like, she literally looks at him, change the fucking, how do you say, like, the velocity fucking thing on the weapon, and nobody stops him until fucking was it Irons is like, no.
You know what could have been you know what, it's such like a how do I explain it? It's such like a cliche and such a terrible job of a villain being on screen. Like, they might as well put in the dude from the villain from fucking what's that fucking cartoon? Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Like, he might as well just been wearing a cape and like snarling and ha 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 ha.
He doesn't even really get in trouble, and he fucking killed. Even if it's not murder, he still is responsible for the death of. They say the senator was killed in that debris, right?
Yeah.
Fucking severely injures Sparky, so she's fucking, her spinal cord is broken, and she did nothing wrong, you know. And then they're trying to shoehorn this thing between, like, light romance between her and Shaq, which is fine, but they have zero fucking chemistry, and it's super fucking weird the entire time. And then and then I don't know if you got that far, but they're also like, it must have been like in his contract or something, but every woman in the film is like acting like if he's like this hunky ass fucking guy. And I'm not trying to say that like Shaq's bad looking or anything, but it just doesn't feel like, it just feels strange and forced, you know, just like the whole basketball stuff that they just have to throw in there, that he's like can't play basketball because, you know, he's Shaq and he's 7'1". Yeah, okay, we get it, guys. Like, chill out. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, man.
You could have picked up any generic ass actor to be Steel. And I get, like, Shaq was like, you know, he was just traded to the Lakers, and that, I think 97 or 96, one of those years, that was like his first Laker year. You know, he's huge, and he's one of the faces of the NBA. Cool. But the fool couldn't act his way out of a fucking shoebox.
And it's massively apparent. Like, when,
like, it stands out.
Yeah, like when the movie starts, it's so goddamn distracting how bad he is. How he you know, supposedly he memorized all his lines, and you know, and he really tried and had an acting coach, but it does not show whatsoever. Every line that he delivers feels like he's acting. It doesn't feel natural at all whatsoever through this entire thing. Even when, like, he goes to see it was his grandma, and she's like, gives him shit for the souffle or
souffle.
What? Yeah, right. And then she's all, just give me some sugar, and then he like blows these weird kisses at her, and it's like super fucking strange. Like, that's not how you act, you know, to your grandma. I don't know, man. It's just so distracting. Oh man. And I don't know, dude. And then the you know, the suit is terrible because, all right, they start off the movie with like a super long credits scroll of like lava, right? And then later on, they show you that that's how he like makes his suit or whatever, supposedly. But and then when you see the suit, it's clearly not steel.
Looks like aluminum.
Especially his mask, where it's like you should have just not put him in a mask because first of all he's Shaq, so it just looks very strange. And then when you think, and all the action is in this is like slowed down, and you know they couldn't get a body double for him because he's Shaq. So he's really running out there and sprinting after these guys, but it looks like he's jogging, you know, and it's very fucking off-putting the entire time. It's so weird.
Also, with the mask, like the mask is shit, right? But how the fuck does no one know it's him?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There can't be that many fucking 7'1" dudes in LA. It's in LA, right?
Yeah, it's set in LA.
Like. And in that area, and what's happening, like you don't know it's him. The mask and the suit isn't hiding shit.
So this was written and directed by this guy Kenneth Johnson, who I think when they pitched him, like, hey, take on this project, it'll be really cool. He didn't want to do anything that was affiliated with superheroes, and I guess they talked him into it. He's known for surprise television stuff like Bionic Woman and The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno. So he's done some pretty decent stuff that's admired by a lot of people. So it's very fucking bizarre and kind of tragic that he's attached to this. But it feels very much like this guy was out of touch with the material, first of all, because I think that I read that he wanted to write like the certain characters in the script, like the way that they talked and everything, so that it would be natural. And some of the kids are okay, but also it just like this guy was way out of his depth, and also, like you said, Shaq just can't act, and he was severely the wrong choice for this.
Yeah,
and then they also made the really bad choice of like, yeah, let's take like this side character from Superman and pretend that he's like, you know, his own thing, and it was just like they didn't know what to do, which is, you know, at that point, I just think that this they should have just scrapped this whole project, to be honest.
I just don't know how those fools like. I don't know how they put that out. Like, I really don't, and I regret. To be honest, I regret. Wrecking it for an episode because it was. And I will tell you, I told Wes this story before we got on air, but you know what we should do too? I'll post that picture when we post the link of the episode. But I've never had any problems with HBO Max, whatever. And I've heard that people, it glitches a lot or like you get error messages. So I was sitting here watching the movie a couple hours ago, and I'm watching it. I looked down at my phone. I looked back up like 2 seconds later, and I got an error message. And I told Wes, I was just thinking, like, I cannot fucking finish this movie. I cannot. I was like 40 minutes in. I could not sit another hour in this fucking movie. And it was like fucking God telling me, turn this shit off right now. And that's what I did. So I stopped watching and didn't put it back on.
Yeah, man. It's very, very rough. And that's coming from someone who has a very high tolerance, but dude, the quality of this, like, people always, now it's like this running joke of that's like CW level, and this is below that standard, if that means
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, this is like 10 years ago CW. Below that. Yeah. I want to know who went to the theaters to see this movie. Like, it made almost $2 million. I want to know the fuckers that went to go see this movie.
Well, okay, I didn't obviously I didn't go see it in the theater, but I was a big fan of basketball back then, and so I believe it was my grandfather. He rented the video for me, and I remember being stoked and was like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna check this out." But I'll tell you this: I have not thought about this movie, and I can't even remember watching it when we rented that video. I had I don't know why, but it was just like I can remember that he got it for me and that I was stoked and that it was Shaquille O'Neal and that's it. But until you were like, yeah, let's do this movie, it's a bad movie. I had forgotten that it even existed, to be honest. Has Shaq done anything else, or did he put anything else out around this time? And can I just say, Space Jam, the original Space Jam works because Michael Jordan is being Michael Jordan, you know?
Yes.
It fucking works, and it's fun, you know? People talk shit about that movie and that it's dumb or whatever, and it doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever. But it's still good, and it's I enjoyed watching him, and it wasn't distracting, and I don't know, it's weird, you know? I don't know.
Well, he was... Okay, so... wasn't... Blue Chips was before this.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Kazam was before this.
That's right,
Kazam. That was 96. This was 97. And everything else, dude, it's just been minor roles, little roles here and there, nothing big. Blue Chips, Kazam, and Steel were the only movies that were his movies where he was the star.
Do you know, did Kazam do well? Because I remember
going to the theaters and seeing that.
Yeah,
that I remember. So the budget for Kazam was $20 million. $20 million.
Holy shit! For him as a genie.
Fucking touchstone. Disney giving him $20 million to make that fucking movie, and it only made $18.9 million.
So it's still it was a bomb. Technically,
it was a bomb, and that has a lower percentage than this. That has a 5% on Rotten.
Something is telling me that I still think Kazam is a better movie than Steel.
Something is telling me that too. I don't remember that being that bad. Then maybe I have to go. I don't know if it's on Disney Plus or streaming somewhere, but I might have to go watch some of it to see if it's that bad. Because that is more of a believable movie than this. Even though he's a fucking genie, I could see him playing that over a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a more fun concept, and they also, it's very, very apparent that even though they have some weird language and shit, bad language in this, that they're trying to target a certain demographic of kids. And it just didn't, the action wasn't there. Like I said, especially in that span of time where you have all of these fucking great movies coming out, and then they put this out. I don't know. I'm still grappling with it. Somebody sat there, an editor sat there and was like, "Yeah, this is."
Is it a fever dream, or did they do Happy Meal toys for this? They did do action figures. Oh my god, I have to buy something. I'll send it to you. Yeah, they did do action figures. Kennard in them.
Wow, really?
And you have to see these.
Think about this, man. You have the first, was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That comes out in 95. All right, so that should already be a standard for kids action. because the choreography in that shit is pretty fucking tight, even for today's standards. Forget it. I'm not talking about the shitty Zord CGI, whatever you want to talk about that, but the choreography and everything. So that's my super big gripe with this trying to be like a, how do you say, like a kind of like a grimy vigilante tale where the action set pieces are just so underwhelming. Even like at the end, or I guess you didn't get to the end. Maybe you'll remember this. You said you remember the movie kind of well. At the end, they do the thing where he's Shaq or Irons is like grabs a grenade and he's gonna shoot it through this fucking fence or whatever. And he's all, I never make the 3 throws to the little kid. And then of course he fucking makes it. It's like 45 seconds and the fucking grenade hasn't gone off yet. And it's just like the most plot convenience ever. Like everything.
What's even crazier is that it's on Max.
Yeah, that it's on there. Like, I want to know. I wish we could see like polls of like who's watching this besides us for this review.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna get the fucking. They're gonna get those fucking streaming numbers and be like, "What 2 fucking idiots streamed Steel?"
And then they're gonna look at yours and be like, "Oh no, he only watched like halfway." And then Judd Nilsson's character was Nathaniel. He just like strolls on into the city, and he casually has like the fucking these like classified documents. He's like, "Yeah, I got a little gift from my Uncle Sam or whatever." And it's like, what, dude? Like, how did you get? Like, you should be fucking like dishonorably discharged. And why were you able to? You know, like none of this makes sense. None of this script. It's like,
not that I condone it, but I'm pretty sure if you put this premise into one of those AI generators, I'm pretty sure it would make a better movie than this.
Is there anybody who you... Okay, first of all, since you're a comic book guy, do you like that actual, like the source character, or do you have any feeling? Never read it. The S tattoo that they have to point out where it says Man of Steel, and it's like that's like the connection between him and Superman, even though they're like, oh, don't worry, like this doesn't have anything to do with that, but then they still had to do that.
That tattoo, always looks so funny on him too, because he's like such a huge dude, and he just has this little Man of Steel tattoo on his arm. Also, none of this is reflective on how we think of Shaq now, because Shaq is the man. And he's so generous with his fucking money. He's buying random people shit, random family stuff, random kids things. And he's fucking hilarious on TNT with Charles Barkley.
Yeah, we don't dislike O'Neal whatsoever. He seems like a cool dude, but
just had some terrible movie decisions.
You know, and I think that they wanted him for something else originally, and he was like, no, I feel like Steel is more my vibe, pretty much.
I want to know how much of that $16 million was
Shaq.
Because I know that shit didn't go into the fucking
production,
cinematography, or production, or editing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like impressively bad. Almost to the point of unwatchable.
Can you think of something else along the lines of this that is just as bad?
Oh yeah, that shitty that Cats movie from a couple years ago.
Oh yeah,
like unfinished CGI and shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they why not just do it the way it had always been done?
Yeah.
Why do CGI like that? I can't think of anything because you can't even for instance, movies that people always think that are terrible now have this cult following or are getting they're getting its flowers now Showgirls. Showgirls is a movie that everyone thinks was fucking terrible, but if you sit down and watch Showgirls, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's first of all, it's Paul Verhoeven.
Yes,
who's the man. And I think it was that's interesting. I would be down to cover that movie because it's so bizarre, like the history and it really had a rough go of it, you know.
That we got to put that movie on the list. That would also be a good movie to screen. Yeah. Come on, that would be, dude. People would fucking show up for that. I think it's Vinegar Syndrome who put that out recently.
Yeah, that's on, and it's on sale right now.
Mutant Mayhem is out on digital today.
You know, I didn't know that, but
yeah,
thank you for that information.
So go and rent that shit. Go to the movie theaters and buy it, or see it, or buy it. Can't wait to own a copy of that physically. You see, in that, like I said, I don't think I can think of it. Maybe I'm overthinking it right now, but I can't think of anything like that. What about that Mariah Carey flick?
Oh,
Glitter?
Glitter, yeah. I never saw it, but I heard about it.
No, that's not that bad.
I mean, shit, even Geely is fucking Oscar-worthy compared to this. At least it's competent. You know,
The Room.
Oh yeah,
but even then, that is such a huge cult following. You could see why people genuinely fucking like that movie because how stupid it is. I can't see this. You can never see this movie getting a cult following like that, and then doing screenings all the time and making a movie about the making of the movie.
You know what this is like? This is like those shitty ass sci-fi original movies.
Yes.
Where it's like shark versus octopus, you know? That it's on that level of C grade film. Or alligator versus boa, you know?
Speaking of that, have you seen that the trailer for that new movie? It's about a killer sloth. I want to say it's Slaughterhouse or something like that.
Yeah, I saw the artwork for
it. Oh man!
And then Sharknado is having its anniversary.
And they redid the CGI and shit, right?
Yeah. You know, I walked into it. I told you, let's pick a bad movie, and you picked the most atrocious,
the worst movie.
You know, and I think it has a lot to do. No, actually, maybe not. But I was going to say maybe it has to do with the fact that we're spoiled now in this era of really top-notch superhero-esque movies where that's the new, that's the Western of our day. That's all we get. That's the mainstream is superhero movies. So we've seen what's can be done. And then when you go back in time, especially when, like I said, in that era of movies, everything is so good. You have so much to choose from. And then they made, and then Steel is there. So yeah, I don't know. If you guys want to watch it,
don't watch it.
Be forewarned. It's pretty fun. It's pretty boring too. There's It's
I'll tell you. You know what? I'll do this. I'll do this for you. Whoever's listening to this episode, if you can watch that movie and write me 2 paragraphs on Instagram, DM me on why you watched it and how you finished it, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. I will buy you a Starbucks coffee.
okay. Well, you got to drop them your handle.
I mean, if you're listening to this,
so it's
you
fair.
should already be following me. 'Cause I don't like to toot my own horn, but I am funny. No, yeah. Like I said, 2 paragraphs. I want to know how you finished watching it and why the fuck you finished watching it and what you thought of it. DM me at RyanTFC, RYANTFC, and I'm gonna post it. First person to do it, Starbucks coffee on me.
He's gonna Venmo you the money.
Or Zelle, whatever floats your boat through the Starbucks app. Because I'm pretty sure no one's gonna do it because it's fucking terrible.
We'll see. It's a great challenge. Also, if to make things easier, if for some reason you can't find Ryan because I think his Instagram is private right now, you can drop it in our podcast page, which is at @dropthemic_pod on Instagram. So find us, watch the movie if you dare, if you can. Write him a 2-paragraph DM. Well, technically, yeah, it'll be probably next week. We will be closing out finally our Summer of Sci-Fi programming for this year, for 2023. And Chris Pollock will be coming back, of course, as per usual. And we're going to sit down and discuss a little film called Repo Man with Emilio Estevez.
Perfect way to close out Summer of Sci-Fi.
And it'll be, I think, a great segue into, of course, your favorite part of the year, my favorite part of the year, spooky time. We always start early. A lot of people don't start till October. Fuck that. All right. We're going to get as much horror films as we can back to back. I know sometimes we pick them here and there throughout the year anyway, but we're going to do nothing but straight horror for about 2 months coming up. So hopefully you're into that. I know we are. We're going to be putting out some great content. If you're stumbling upon this podcast and you don't know what we do, we go by Drop the Mic. We operate out of San Diego, California, and we're available on any and every podcast platform. That includes YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, Luminary, Spotify, Apple Podcast, you name it, we're on there. Search Drop the Mic and check out our incredibly vast backlog of episodes. So this is episode 330 tonight, and that's not even including all of the bonus episodes, and we got like the Admiral's Cove stuff. So go and check out everything that we've done if you enjoyed this. If not, then I apologize, but hopefully that's not the case.
How could they not like your voice?
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Even though you make fun of me on the down low sometimes. This was a lot of fun, and it was super. I feel like we're not super negative on the show because it's like that's what the internet takes care of that already. So it was it's nice to dip our toes into that territory, I guess. And I still think that we weren't even that bad tonight, but yeah, this movie is pretty bad. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Ryan, for joining tonight.
Yes. Always a good time. And I cannot wait for this.
Everybody,
like you said,
everybody listening out there, Go accept Ryan's challenge. Just bulldoze his DM so he has to spend like $100 on coffee for different people. Because that would be awesome. Plot twist, everybody loves steel. But yeah, so next week, Repo Man, and then we're going to unveil what we're going to kick off our annual spooky season with. So stay tuned. Again, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so until next time, this is Ryan Jimenez, Wesley Swanson signing off, saying good fight and good night.
Hey, move out the way, fool. It's our hood.
Now put the gun down and there won't be any trouble.
Oh, man, please. I'm about to smoke you like a blunt.
Oh, do I want to look?
One of us has to.
Well, I'll be damned. Enough of this stuff. Let's get a body.
Yeah, get that.